Our culture is what happens when you don't teach critical thought or rhetoric, and it shows. Americans are deprived of any serious training in rhetoric or critical thought, and it shows. Our K-12 schools offer no mandatory classes. Our colleges offer little more than philosophical indoctrination. Ultimately, the development of our personal codes and values are left to the propaganda of groups, business, government, media/press, with agendas that do not have our best interest in mind. We are therefore easily manipulated. We have no defense against logical fallacies, the worst of which is the straw man. No wonder we are so angry and violent. Instead of nuance and understanding, we are basically told to choose a cause and let them do the thinking for us. As a teacher, I think our American culture is more defined by the overemphasis of testing and data. Students are tested into the ground right from kindergarten. School is supposed to help kids learn and grow into functioning humans, not into high-stress, high-anxiety testing robots who don't know how to critically think and solve problems. Students, as much as schools want to claim, are not valued as people. They are only valued if they perform well on assessments. It's such a shame. These students then graduate and join society, having no idea about what the world is really like, no idea how to solve problems when things get hard, and get blamed for being useless, lazy, and stupid. It makes me sad, and I can only hope that this country will someday go back to remembering what's truly important in an educational system. Ironically, both hardcore liberals and hardcore conservatives are nodding their heads furiously at this post. As someone who has actual training in philosophy and rhetoric, I sometimes don't even know how to start arguing with someone. Some people's entire worldviews are built upon layers of logical fallacies. Had that conversation today with my wife and one of my sons. People to a large extent are followers. They want to believe in something and have purpose. For a long time a lot of that was based upon religion. It gave them organization and direction and a certain unity. Sometimes for good and some for bad, but fundamentally it was a unifying thing. We've gone away from that as a society, and I get the sense that people are floundering. Religion has been replaced in some cases by other groups and even social media and the internet in general, but it's not as unifying. I'm not religious, and a wedding was probably the last time I was in a church, but I can see how people might need the direction. Lack of critical thought, lack of overall respect and consideration of others, zero accountability for actions, too much praise for seeking the spotlight and flaunting. My school taught fallacies and gave us problems to help us think critically and all, but maybe that was just my school. Teacher here, critical thinking happens in arts-related courses as well as the humanities like history and foreign language. Unfortunately, those classes aren't emphasized like STEM. Sure, kids can crunch data and equations, but they fail to see a use for these things because they are not encouraged by their counselors to take the soft skills courses beyond the grad requirements. I had an assembly where the students needed to bring in chairs. Instead of using a chair cart readily available, students would take multiple trips carrying 3 to 4 chairs at a time. I guess in the end we knock street smarts, but the soft skills are defining factors for admissions into law school, medicine, etc. I mean, that's what they do with English classes. Like writing argumentative or persuasive essays. The AP Language and Composition class along with a dual enrollment class at my school both teach rhetoric, logical fallacies, and how to build a strong argument. The problem? Both classes are high-level classes, meaning in a school of 1,000 plus students only about 30 students max take one of the two classes. But the problem with having everyone take a class with a similar curriculum is that a lot of people will still not pay attention and learn nothing from the class. This shows in 99% of comments I'm reading about these protests. Zero nuance. All people acting like it's a big fight of good vs evil and there's nothing else to it. It's so infuriating. No, our culture is what happens when everyone is programmed by social media algorithms that have the only goal of keeping people on the app by all means necessary. I agree with this. But it's also disturbing how very intelligent and thoughtful people can so willingly turn off that critical thought out of fear of deviating from the groupthink. So even the people who do have those skills becoming willfully blind to any logical fallacies that contradict whatever platform they've chosen. My school removed the citizenship class because it was apparently thought oppression. Class was about how to be a good citizen, and discussed about formal manners. I recently read A Demon-Haunted World, Science as a Candle in the Dark by Carl Sagan. A little dated, but an excellent guide to critical thinking and logic. There is a great set of tools to help people not fall victim to BS. I think the bigger danger is the learned complacency. I had a teacher in elementary school who loved to call kids insubordinate when they acted up, like the act of defying authority was inherently immoral. Being subordinate for no reason means that the people making the rules can trivially ignore you by forcing you to express grievances in a manner that can be dismissed without consequence. This is incredibly true. I wish more people could see this. It's by design. How else were politicians supposed to get elected unless the population was too stupid to see through their bullshit? I don't know, man. There's a ton of poorer countries where the education system is just rote learning and they're better with social issues than America. Our education system is trash. It is all testing, very few real life skills. There is tons of filler that is really not relevant in today's society, and some subjects are taught and retaught 3 or 4 times. Yes, even college is trash. The first year and a half of college was all just crap I had learned in high school. History, English, government, wasting my time. Many of the classes after that are taught from systems such as Pearson, McGraw-Hill, etc. And they are all computerized. So far I have done great in college grade-wise, but as far as what I have actually learned, I have learned more outside of college than I have inside. We are all living in a society in which there are so many things out of our control. So many things that feel arbitrary, based on rules that are not logical, and make things harder than they should be. This might be part of what causes the protests and riots.